Some time ago, as we all know, Kobe Bryant tragically died in a helicopter crash along with his daughter and many other people, 7 other people. And as is typical, police respond. It's all routine. It's all ordinary. They got to come to the crime scene or the scene of the accident. It wasn't a crime here that we know of. And it was a high profile case that the whole country was caught off guard. I don't even watch basketball, and I was shocked when I heard that because of the sort of the legendary status of Kobe Bryant and the tragedy that he would die with his daughter. Helicopter crashes, police respond. Unfortunately, police took a bunch of photographs and then they started sharing those around amongst their friends, their pals. Totally inappropriate. You have to understand here that, yes, I know that police are human. They're human beings. But this is a big problem with police. This is a big problem with law enforcement and first responders in general. Oftentimes, their humanity gets the better of them, and they will breach certain ethical protocols, and they'll do things that are wholly inappropriate. There is a right to privacy. If you're in the middle of an accident, if you're in the middle of an altercation, the government just doesn't get to come in and snap photos of everything that's going on and then post it on Facebook. It's not how this stuff works. And traditionally, there are very strict procedures in place that prohibit access to certain data that might be subject to temptation to reveal to the public. And so there was an example here in Scottsdale, I'm not going to name anybody, but there was an individual who used to work for the Scottsdale law enforcement, let's say, and the allegations were that he was dating a woman who got picked up by the Scottsdale police, and because he worked in that agency, when he wanted to know more about this woman, he looked up on public access. Oh, she's got a DUI. Where did that DUI happen? Oh, out of Scottsdale. Okay, well, I happen to have some access to data in Scottsdale, so maybe I'll just go see if I can take a look at the body camera footage so I can get some indication about what really happened here. Maybe I'll know not to date this person again or whatever. This person didn't have lawful access to that. He wasn't somebody who had the ability to go in and just freely access this stuff because it's segmented out. The body cameras are segmented from certain people. This was not a person who was a uniformed police officer. He just worked sort of in the bureaucracy, and he went and accessed that data, and he got another officer or somebody else to give him access to that data. Well, lo and behold, it is discovered that he had access to that data and he no longer works over in Scottsdale. It's a big problem. Happens all the time. Cops do this. They'll take pictures of stuff. They'll even text message victims. So they'll go and they'll arrest the boyfriend in a disorderly conduct domestic violence situation. And then the next morning they'll text the girlfriend because the boyfriend's still in custody, and they'll say, "Hey, it's Officer Johnson, just making sure you're doing okay. You doing okay?" And she goes, yeah, thanks so much. You're my hero, whatever, right? He's creeping on the victim of a crime. This stuff happens all the time. Reprehensible. It's happening to Kobe Bryant and his wife, Vanessa. This article comes over from ABC 7 News. Says here, judge rules in favor of Vanessa Bryant in crash photos lawsuit. Federal judge in California ruled that Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, can obtain the names of 4 Los Angeles County Sheriff deputies who allegedly shared graphic photos from the site of the helicopter crash that killed her husband, their daughter, Gianna, and 7 others. An effort by the Los Angeles County lawyers to keep the deputies' names under seal, why do they want to do that, was rejected on Monday by U.S. District Judge John F. Walter from the Los Angeles Times. The ruling means the names and the details from the internal affairs investigation of the deputies could be added to the lawsuit against the county and the sheriff's department. I'm going to show you a screenshot of this lawsuit. So she's suing them basically for violations of her right to privacy. The county, however, can appeal the decision. Kobe Bryant and others were killed January 26 when the helicopter they were aboard crashed west of Los Angeles in the hills of Calabasas. The Times later reported that an investigation found deputies shared photos of the victims' remains. Just awful. Vanessa Bryant sued, seeking damages for negligence and invasion of privacy. County lawyers argued that the deputies' names should remain under seal because releasing them would make it easy for hackers to locate their personal information and addresses. So it's very interesting. They want privacy. They don't want their personal information out there. They don't want their addresses out there. They don't want to be located. But when they have a dead girl and a dead basketball player and a dead father, we have a number of other dead people there. they don't get privacy. They're going to snap photographs of them and then pass them around to their friends like this whole is a joke, like they're from TMZ or something like that. It goes on. The judge wrote that Sheriff Alex Villanueva's promise to publicly release the Internal Affairs Bureau report after the conclusion of the investigation undermines the defendant's purported concern in the disclosure of limited excerpts at issue here. The judge also wrote that the public has a vested interest in assessing the truthfulness of the allegations of police misconduct. So yeah, so they want privacy, but the Bryant family doesn't get any privacy. Let's take a look at this order. Irritates me so much. The United States District Court, Central District of California. This is a snapshot of the lawsuit. I was surprised I didn't hear more about this. So this lawsuit was filed a while ago, and you can see it is Vanessa Bryant here versus the County of Los Angeles. And it's now in the District Court of California. They originally filed it in a state court. This order was released March 8th, 2021. And let's go through it. We have courtroom deputy attorneys present. This is the order denying the joint application for leave to file portions of the First Amendment complaint under seal. All right, so let me frame this out just a little bit. There was an original complaint. So Vanessa Bryant said, after they learned about what happened, the sharing of the photos, the taking of the photos, all of that, they sued. They filed a lawsuit in local state court in California. Then they basically want to refile that complaint or amend it. So they said, well, we originally complained about something. We're going to modify it because we've got some new facts. We've got some new allegations that we want to make. And so now they're communicating with the defendants here, would be the sheriffs, and they're saying, hey, we're going to file this new complaint. And they both agree that there needs to be a new complaint that's essentially filed. But what they're disagreeing about is whether the names of those deputies can be in the new complaint. Vanessa Bryant, they want it out there. They want to identify these people. The government, of course, does not. Again, they're concerned about that, their addresses and things like that. They have to be private. It's very sacred that their privacy be upheld. Vanessa's, though, it doesn't really matter. So that's the two sides of the argument. That's sort of how they're in alignment. Let's go through the actual order from the court. On February 24th, plaintiff Vanessa Bryant and defendants Los Angeles and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, they filed a joint application for leave to file portions of the First Amendment complaint under seal. So they want to lock it up. So this new amended complaint, they want to keep it under seal so nobody can see what's in it. The court finds that this matter is appropriate for decision without oral argument, so the judge didn't hear from anybody, just said, I'm just going to write a ruling about it. After considering the application and the arguments therein, the court rules as follows. Pursuant to the court order on December 14th, plaintiff's deadline to join parties and amend her complaint is March 24th, which is coming up. Defendants have consented to the filing of the First Amendment complaint. First amended complaint, which adds certain factual allegations and names 4 individual sheriff's deputies, the deputy defendants, and the Los Angeles County Fire Department, the fire department as defendants. So they're going to name them. However, the parties disagree as to whether portions of the First Amendment complaint should be filed under seal and whether the deputy defendants may proceed anonymously. Government wants it to be anonymous. Ms. Bryant wants to have it public. In the application, the government, the defendants, they seek to seal portions of the complaint that contain 2 things. Number 1, the deputies' names and ranks, which the plaintiff obtained from the Internal Affairs Bureau report, and 2, verbatim quotes from the IAB report. So they do not want the names to come out, and they do not want what they said to come out. Defendants refused to produce the IAB report until ordered to do so by the judge. They weren't even going to give it up. The IAB report is subject to confidential designation pursuant to the parties' stipulated protective order. So I would love to know what's in that report. Would love to know what they were talking about. What's in those text messages? What were the images of? I don't necessarily need to see them, but I would like to know what were they of and what were they talking about? Were they laughing? Were they poking fun at this? Were they making racial comments? What the hell was going on there? Why did the Internal Affairs Bureau refuse to release the report until they were ordered? And if they're so concerned about their addresses and their identity and their personal safety, well, why don't they just leave that stuff out? Why don't they ask that their names be left out? But shouldn't we be able to hear the quotes? So if we don't know their identities, if they remain anonymous, well, we should still be able to know what the quotes are. What is knowing what the quotes say? How does that impact their privacy or their dangerousness? Do they identify their names in the quotes? Hey, this is Sergeant Johnson sending you an awful text message to Sergeant Mary. Okay. That's going to reveal who they are? It's because it's awful. They don't want you to see it, because this is what police do. They just bury everything. You got to have millions of dollars in lawsuits to go even get access to it. Vanessa Bryant does. She has the ability to do this. You don't. I don't. We do. We have a law firm here. But individually, you understand my point. Most people do not. She does. Good for her. Historically, courts have recognized a general right to inspect and copy public records and documents, including judicial records and documents. The court is citing Kamakana versus City and County of Honolulu. Big wall of text here. We'll go through it quickly. In considering a sealing request, the court begins with a, quote, strong presumption of access from the starting point. Because a complaint forms the foundation of the lawsuit and is a document that is more than tangentially related to the underlying cause of action, parties seeking to seal a complaint must articulate a compelling reason supported by specific factual findings that outweigh the general history of access and the public policies favoring disclosure. So the judge is saying, look, it's a complaint. It's the basis of the entire lawsuit. Everything that we're complaining about in here is coming from the complaint. Every other order, every other calendar, every other settlement conference, every other disclosure request, all oral, it's all based out of the complaint. If the complaint's not public, why the hell do we care about what else is out there? We don't, because we don't even know what they're talking about. So the judge is citing some case law and referencing the fact that public policy and the presumption here is that this stuff is made public. If the government wants to keep it sealed, they got to come up with compelling reasons. They got to come up with factual findings that outweigh the general history of access. The presumption is it's open. Government, it's your burden to come and show us why it should be closed. And it's got to be compelling. In general, compelling reasons that are sufficient to outweigh the public interest and justify sealing the court record exist when such court files might have become a vehicle for improper purposes, such as the use of records to gratify private spite, promote public scandal, circulate libelous statements, or release trade secrets. However, the mere fact that production of the records may lead to a litigant's embarrassment, to their incrimination, or to their exposure to further litigation will not, without more, compel the court to seal its records. Okay, it's got to be one of these things. Otherwise, not good enough. Defendants have failed to demonstrate compelling reasons to seal the deputy defendants' names and ranks or the verbatim quotes from the IAB report. Indeed, where the case involves allegations of police misconduct, the public has a vested interest in assessing the truthfulness of the allegations of official misconduct and whether agencies that are responsible for investigating and adjudicating complaints of misconduct have acted properly and wisely. Misconduct by, and look at all these sites. Just, I love this. This judge's home run right here. Misconduct by individual officers, incompetent internal investigations, or questionable supervisory practices must be exposed if they exist. With respect to the defendant's request, the sheriff's request to seal the names and ranks, defendants have not identified a single case in which a police officer sued for civil rights violations has been allowed to proceed in such a manner. In which a police officer sued for civil rights has been allowed to proceed in such a manner. So they're not identifying any other precedent. Although the court recognizes that this case has been the subject of public scrutiny and media attention, and that the deputy defendants are legitimately concerned that they will encounter vitriol and social media attacks, such concerns by themselves are not sufficient to outweigh the public's strong interest in access. Moreover, defendants' concerns that hackers may attempt to seek out and gain access to their individual deputies' devices to locate any photographs and publish them is totally inconsistent with their position that such photographs no longer exist. Oh, this judge is just money. We just heard from another judge, not too good. This judge, pretty good. They're saying, well, we can't have this information out there because hackers might get access to the phone and release the photos. And the judge says, hang on a minute there, buddy. You already said that there were no more photos because they were all deleted. So which is it? Huh? Pretty good there, Judge. Here it says, with respect to the verbatim quotes from the IAB report, defendants argue that publicly disclosing these quotes will, quote, discourage witness cooperation and prevent the IAB from fully investigating potential misconduct. However, This type of conclusory assertion does not satisfy the compelling reason standard. As the district court stated in Macias, contrary to defendants' assertions otherwise, courts have recognized that victims, witnesses, and other officers may be more likely to participate in investigations or discipline proceedings if they believe their reports of misconduct will be thoroughly and fairly investigated. Moreover, Sheriff Villanueva's promise to publicly release the IAB report after the conclusion of the investigation undermines the defendant's purported concern in the disclosure of the limited excerpts at issue here. For the foregoing reasons, the defendant's application is denied. I'm happy with this judge. Like this judge. Very, 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 very good stuff there. This happens all the time, and most of the time, it actually goes in favor of the officers. They get to protect everything, right? Everything is held under seal because they're so scared of everything. They harm something, they do some harm out in society, and then they sort of crawl back into their circle of blue shields that are protecting them from any repercussions from the public. Now, today, the judge says, no, you did that. Public needs to know. It's a part of the complaint. It's open for business. And Mr. Government, if you're concerned about this, about hackers getting the photos, well, you already told us that the photos were deleted. And by the way, your own sheriff said that they're going to release a full report anyways. And so why are you so concerned about these bad quotes? What are you talking about? It's going to discourage witness cooperation. What the heck does that even mean? They're quotes from your defendants. Are you going to investigate? Are you saying that your investigation, your internal affairs investigation is going to be a problem? What are you talking about? None of that serves Vanessa Bryant. Vanessa Bryant, to her credit, is driving this bus, driving hard. Good for her. Good for this judge. Makes me very happy. Good way to end the show. Question on this comes over from Norovira. Finally, the police is sanctioned for this. Number one lesson is that when people are in difficult situations and are facing death and illness, their pictures should not be shared. How is that not common sense? I hope Vanessa Bryant wins this. And it's looking like she will. I think that she will. It is reprehensible. Look, I understand that if you are a person, a human being, that you get a little bit of celebrity energy. People just sort of drool all over themselves to be around celebrities. People want to be on the Derek Chauvin trial. I'm so excited to be here, juror number 3 said. Okay, you're going to get on the jury panel. That's fine. Cops are not different from humans. They're human beings. And so they're going to get caught up in the moment. They're going to take pictures and they're going to do bad things. Totally reprehensible. I do not condone it at all. The reason why cops go through the training and they get, they go through their academy and they get their badge is because we hold them to a higher standard, as we should, as lawyers do and doctors do. In certain professions, you just got to know better. And if you cross that line, this is a major one of those lines, totally inappropriate, should never have happened, really reprehensible conduct. The dead should be able to rest in peace. They should not be the subject of profane text messages that are being sent around this country. Not okay at all. They probably would have gotten away with it if it were not for Kobe Bryant. They would have gotten away with it if it were not for Vanessa Bryant, rather. Driving this home, and the judge is in alignment with her. Big victory on this, and I hope the sheriff's office has a penalty to pay for that type of conduct. And what irritates me even more about this, to be fair, if they would have just said, yeah, look, we have these 4 deputies, idiots, we're going to discipline the hell out of them. They're all going to be suspended, or they're going to all be pulled off duty, or they're going on a desk for 6 months or whatever. They're going to be disciplined. We're going to deal with this internally. Here's all of the information. Here's what they said. Here's how they said it. Here's full transparency. We're going to open it up to the public, and we're going to make sure that the accountability is passed on to the people who are responsible for this egregious offense. I'd be like, okay, there you go. That's good. And I would say probably shouldn't even sue them for that, right? Let it go. They've owned it, but they are not owning it. In fact, they are doubling and tripling down on this. We're not going to release the names. We're not going to release the quotes. We're going to fight with the release of the report. I'm sure they're going to do that. Sheriff Villanueva is going to order it, and probably they're going to redact a bunch of stuff for public safety. It's going to be a whole rigmarole. Around and around we go. That's even more offensive to me. It's the cover-up that drives me bananas. I understand that cops are going to make mistakes. I understand that they're going to get caught up in the fervor and the fury and the emotion of the scene. I don't agree with it. I don't endorse it. I think they should still be punished for that because we expect more from them. But I understand it's going to happen. As long as they own it and they try to remediate it, we can't be too upset about that. But when they then double down, no, we're going to hide them, and we're going to make up all these BS reasons for hackers and cooperating witnesses. It's BS. It's total BS. And they know it. But they're doing it to serve their people at the expense of the public. And that is beyond reprehensible in my opinion. And the judge seems to agree. So we'll see where this one goes. All right. Good questions today. Want to thank all of those of you over on Locals who are supporting the show. Many of you make this show possible. You keep our energy high. We got Hack Consulting in the house. Jason Segal. We got Dr. Renal MD from New York who chimed in on today. We've got a couple others. Molly May _shades. We have Want to Know. We got Danny Girl. Just like to say thank you to all of these tremendous people. Nadarb Lasir was in the house today. Who else do we have going on? Darker _1992. Carolina Flying, I call a lot. We got some new people who signed up. What's up? J-Bone86 joined up. Welcome to the crew. We got News Now Wyoming in the house. We have Danger Mouse Girl in real life. I'm sorry. Yeah, Danger Mouse in real life. And then we have E2V. E-ta-T. Ito the. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. All of those people are over on locals.com along with Anki Woe. We've got Remark number 2. Zuck's in the house. Norovira. Saw her today. Good to see you, Norovira. And there's a lot of great stuff over there on locals.com. I'm trying to post more links over there. Eventually, when I sort of get back into the swing of things here in terms of my content production, I intend to release some more videos just exclusively over to Locals. And so we're working our way over there, but I'd encourage you to go over there now because there's some pretty great stuff. Get a copy of my book. It's free. PDF available to download. Get a copy of the slides as well. Get a copy of any impeachment party templates that you'd like. Grab a copy of my existence systems. I just gave a talk on this, in fact, to a friend of mine's company yesterday. Went very well. People seem to be appreciative of it. People are liking it. So go check that out. We share good links over there and have great conversations with great people. So check out locals.com. It's a platform where we can have a little bit more free speech without being feared, having the fear of sort of being canceled at every single turn on some of the other platforms. So check it out. Would be very much appreciative if you did. Lastly, but not leastly, I am a criminal defense attorney here at the R&R Law Group. We're in Scottsdale, Arizona. We love to help good people who have been charged with crimes find safety, clarity, and hope in their cases, but beyond that, in their futures. We offer free case evaluations. We can help anybody with any type of criminal charge in the state of Arizona. I'm talking about things like DUIs, domestic violence, drug offenses, any of the old town crimes, things like disorderly conduct, urinating in public, criminal damage, criminal trespass. Things are opening back up in this country. There's going to be some more of that, along with the DUIs and some of the other offenses. We also handle felonies, major felonies. Felonies involving some of the most heinous things that you can think of. We've covered those and more, anything and everything in between. So if you know anybody who wants to clear up a criminal record, whether it's a current case, an old case, we can help people restore their rights, restore their right to possess a firearm, restore their right to vote, federal benefits, and the list goes on. We help people remove mugshots. We help people quash old warrants. And there's a lot that we can do. You know, a lot of people think that if you've been charged with a crime, you're automatically guilty. And that's the end of the story. And that's just not the case. There's a lot that we can do to make sure that you come out even better than we found you, even better than the system would certainly want to do to you. We don't want you to go through the justice system and come out the other end sort of ground into a bag of dirt. It's not okay. We think that the justice system should be a lot more humanitarian and really help people get things back on track. And we, of course, want to assist in that process. So if you happen to know anybody in the state of Arizona who needs help with a criminal charge, send them our way. Free case evaluations. We would be honored and humbled and grateful for your referral. And that is it from me, my friends. We are going to hop on Clubhouse. I've got about half an hour on Clubhouse that I can devote to answering some live Q&A. We have a lot of fun there. We have a community over there now on Clubhouse called Watching the Watchers. It's a club. It's an official club. So if you want to check that out, please go on over to Clubhouse. I know it's iPhone only. I know it's problematic to those of you with Androids. What I did personally is I went out and got an iPad, a separate device, but you could easily use an old iPhone, or there are even, iPod touches, I think, that are $199 on Apple if you want to just buy a Clubhouse device, especially if you are somebody who likes to talk, who likes to communicate, who wants to sort of be on the latest tech, be a part of a new growing, burgeoning social media platform. You may want to check it out. If not, they're working on an Android app. So soon enough, we'll be able to unveil that to everybody. Before we sign off, one more reminder to go down below and vote for Miss Faith. She's at the last little hurdle on her competition. She is the best chef in the whole planet. And if you don't vote for her, she'll slice and dice you, folks. So proceed with caution. Go down there and vote on that link below so that we can help advance her to the next stage. I would be personally thankful for you, appreciative of you if you went and did that, because Faith is awesome and she deserves it. And while I'm shouting out, what's up, Ma? You're also awesome. We're going to see you on Clubhouse here soon enough. Everybody, thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, being a part of the program. I'll be on Clubhouse right now if you want to come and join us. Otherwise, we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Same place, same time. It's going to be 5 p.m. Arizona time. Oh, I got another announcement, by the way. So speaking of times, apparently daylight savings time is a thing still. I thought that maybe this country would finally mature out of this insanity. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we do it. It's asinine. In Arizona, we don't change the clock, okay? We're adults here. We just let it go. I don't know what the rest of this country is doing, moving their clocks around. That being said, we're not going to change the time of the show. The show is going to carry on, as it were, for most of you in the other 49 states. If you're in Arizona, we are going to move the time back so that we can still be broadcasting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time or whatever the heck is going on with the clocks around this country. Apparently, that changes on March 14th. So it's the show, if you're in Arizona where we don't move, the show is going to go earlier an hour. I think that's how that works. So we'll be starting in Arizona at 4 p.m. As soon as daylight savings time switches. But I think for the rest of you, that stays the same. Faith and I were trying to figure this out, but it's way too complicated for us. So we're going to figure it out when it happens. So that's going to be the time change announcements. For most of you, it's probably not going to impact you at all. Until that happens, it is still the same place, same time, same location, 5 p.m. Arizona time, 4 p.m., which is Mountain Time, 4 p.m. in California, which is Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central in Texas, 7 p.m. in Florida. And for those of you on the East Coast, everybody have a lovely evening. Sleep very well. I will see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.